Welcome to DAExMachiNation. Join us as we explore the mysteries of this world. Cryptids, monsters, macabre tales, and horror stories abound. Could they be true? Are monsters real?
Good evening, folks, and thank you all for joining us. Another edition of DAExMachiNation. We're back after a long hiatus. Things are returning to somewhat normal. We're into the new house now. We had high-speed internet finally hooked up day before yesterday. Finally got that hooked up. The Wi-Fi we had, the little hotspot, was just not really cutting it. I tried getting online with it a few times, but it was just really bad. So we had to wait till we had the high speed, and I've got a little cubby space as my office. It is about a quarter the size of what I had at the old house, but we'll get through it. And we're back. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Doc couldn't be with us. I hadn't heard back from Steve, but Doc's out on a date night with the wife, so we wish him all the fun in the world. And Robbie's here with me. Robbie Rip Rains, or Robbie Jed Rains, depending on which book you're looking at. But he's a little under the weather. Robbie popped a rib, so if you see him make a grimace in pain, it's not just his face. He's actually got his hurting going on. Robbie, how you doing other than the rib?
Other than the rib, I'm great. But, it sucks getting older. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, that's a fact. Growing old ain't for the faint of heart.
No. So, yeah, but other than that, everything's going good. But I got to take the whole last week off. Of course, the rib kind of stopped what I had planned to do. I mean, I was still able to do some writing, but not as much as I wanted to, because I couldn't sit in it until I got in to see my chiropractor, and she was able to kind of get it back in a little bit. I wasn't able to sit in the chair much more than 10, 15 minutes at a time. But I was trying to get the Taylor control room cleaned up where I could turn it into an office where I'd have a nice big space. But, I appreciate it, Northwoods. Yeah, turn the zing level down a little bit, because if I start laughing, I'll probably lock up. Because
I keep trying to do something and it's not working.
Doctor, I wish I could say it was Bigfoot caused it, but it was my stupidity trying to keep up with the younger kids at work in a softball tournament against some other agencies. Kind of like the flag football thing. It's the same group. And two of the younger ones hit them out of the park, and me being
not to be outdone, the old man had to show the kids how it was done.
Yeah, so I got out there and was and it's the first time I swung a softball bat in probably 20 plus years. And I put two out, but they put me out too.
Hey, what Toby Keith said, I ain't as good as I once was.
But I'm as good as twice.
Without putting yourself in the urgent care.
If I'd have stopped with one, maybe I wouldn't have. But that second one, I really had to put a lot into it. So I'm going to say it was the second one that I put over the fence, because I was already tired at that point, because I was reaching, and it's batting practice, so you don't get the great pitching, and I was reaching for it. And one of the girls we worked with, she was really good in high school and actually went to college and played. She's coaching me. Speaking up, there it goes. And so I was trying to listen to her, and I did, and did what she said to do. But what she said to do was probably what ended up popping it out. But my chiropractor said, if you remember, I did that a couple of months ago when I took that washer out. She said once it pops out like that you're susceptible for it to do that again. So when you do stupid stuff like that, like pick a washer,
tape it up.
That's all you could do, is get them to put an ace bandage on it, wrap it up real tight. But when you do stupid stuff like pick a washing machine up by yourself out of the back of your truck, or at 50 years old, get out there and try to swing a softball bat as hard as you could when you were 20 years old.
Dude, when you hit 50, man, you got a downshift, brother. I'm telling you, my body downshifted for me.
Well, mine's trying to, but my mind ain't listening to it.
Well, that's the number one leading cause in injuries in old men, is still thinking that they're young men.
I guess that's what you call an epiphany moment where I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah. Maybe I should not do that.
Yeah.
You know, when it hurts when you do something, that's a pretty good indicator. You should back off and not do that.
Yeah. So I text our victims advocate today and told the team and everything. And I said, I'm sorry. I'm out. She said, oh, you can't practice today? I said, no, I'm out, period. I said, I can't play. Because even if I heal up, what's going to happen when I go swing again? I'll pop right back out and I'll be right back.
Yeah. You're going to hurt yourself even worse.
Yeah, so.
Man, I remember those days, brother. I'm still dealing with injuries, so I got you. I'm right there with you.
But enough about me and my old broke down rear end.
Well, the new book's doing well, and I wanted to let the mods know that if you use the command what is it, exclamation point Robbie, it puts up Robbie's book, the links to it. So I added that for you all, and it's getting good reviews. How many reviews has it got now?
30, 32, something like that.
That's pretty dang good for a first time author. I mean, when I first put out the Ragnarok books, I think it was 2 or 3 years before I had more than like 10 reviews.
Now it's got 41 global ratings. It says right now.
And not all of those are full reviews. Those are just like somebody left a star rating.
37 ratings with 26 reviews.
There you go.
So you tell me what exactly that means.
Well, the reviews are actual written reviews. The ratings are just somebody gave it a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, whatever star. Because you don't have to leave a review to just leave a rating. And when you hit 100 ratings, Amazon will actually start featuring it in the newsletters. At 50, they'll start mentioning it, but at 100, they actually start pushing it. So we got to get your book up there to 100 ratings.
That's just ratings. That's just somebody. They don't have to write anything. If they just put a star, okay. So I'm getting close to that 50 mark then, because it's 41 total.
Yeah, at the 50, they'll start putting you in like as suggested books. So you bought this book, so you might enjoy this book.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
And I don't know if I told you. I meant to tell you, but I don't know if I ever got a chance to tell you. When I bring my book up and I search it and scroll through the bottom, the first suggestion that pops up is all your books.
Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah. We need to get a full page, black and white, done. Advertising your book and your author page, so I can put it in the back of mine. Well, folks, I am really glad to see you guys. We've missed y'all. I've missed being able to do the show, and it's going to be a little bit of a challenge because it's a much smaller area. The room it's not even a room. The corner of the room that I'm using for my office is really about the same dimensions as the desk. I'm up against a wall on this side, and I've got a corner desk. So the corner desk comes out this way. There's a wall right here to that direction over here. I'm up against the wall there, the corner desk comes out, and then my green screen is right here. And there's a little hallway that runs right behind that green screen so folks can get to the bathroom. So I'm pretty much just occupying the dimensions of my desk with room for the chair.
As we say in the South, he's hemmed in.
Yeah, I'm hemmed in pretty good. But it'll work. It ain't ideal, but it'll work till we get moved back over to the other place. We still got some work to do over at the other house. We got stuff we got to put into storage, and they haven't started anything yet. I don't think they're probably gone until next week sometime. But hopefully they'll get it done pretty quick and we can get moved back over there. Because while I do kind of like this house, it is way too small. Harley don't like it. He's got to go out on a leash every time because there's no fence.
Yeah, I'm sure he don't like that.
Yeah, he don't like that a bit.
I'm sure he's looking like, what's up with this?
Yeah, but he has learned that you get that leash, he's going outside. So he does get excited. But, we got our front yard is not much bigger than the front porch. And the backyard is Robbie, you've been in my other backyard. over the other house. You know the area over by the front of the garage where those limbs were piled?
Yeah.
The backyard's about the size of that area right there, and half of it's paved.
Dang.
So Harley's got a section of grass about 20 by 20.
That's considerably smaller than he's used to roaming around in.
Yeah, he likes that big yard we've got. I know he's going to be happy when we're back over there. Of course, so will I. It has been rather tiresome. I mean, I'm exhausted, and I don't even get to help that much because of my back. But Noah's really been working his ass off, and Nick's been working hard, and Net's going over there tonight after the show so we can pack some more stuff and get it put into storage. Hopefully, keep my fingers crossed, we got everything in the storage pod and locked up by tomorrow evening. We're probably not going to have a Redneck Reading Association tomorrow because I really need to get that done before Monday. So we will be back on Wednesday night where we'll do our regular show. But we may not do the Redneck Reading Association for a little bit until I've got things straightened out. We'll see. We'll see how things go. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully we get it all done tonight or by mid-afternoon tomorrow.
Well, at least taking tomorrow off is going to help me out too, because we're going 3 o'clock to look at Taylor's and Tyler's wedding venue. So that was going to be it's an hour away from here, so that was going to be a rush for me getting back here. So now at least I don't have to rush, knowing we.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, we both of us got stuff to do, so I am planning some other things that I think you all will be pretty excited about. Hold on, Robbie. Can you talk a second? I got to sneeze.
So, Pete, just thank you. Already on that.
Sorry about that.
Me and DA were talking about that from before we came on, self-medication. Pete said rub some bourbon on it from the inside. That is the only way I was able to sleep the other night because it was hurting so bad. I just couldn't. Everywhere I turned, everywhere I laid, I ended up having to get up and get in the recliner and just sit there and hope that I would fall asleep because I could at least sit in the recliner and have a little bit of relief. But it was rough Wednesday night. I literally thought I was going to go to the hospital at one point.
Sorry,
I couldn't breathe. It felt like we were talking about with the Richard Pryor thing in there with the heart attack. MFR, I said, don't breathe. You all right, bro?
Yeah, my sinuses are killing me. I got to start taking my I'm looking for. Got to start taking my allergies again now the spring's here. Sorry. I hate when I get you get that feeling when you get like a sneeze hung and yeah.
Yep.
Sorry about that. Hopefully it'll ease up for a bit. I got to go to Walmart tomorrow and get me some more allergy pills because I'm out. I generally don't have to take them in the wintertime, but the weather has just been, I know it's the first day of spring was yesterday, but the weather has just been so crazy this last couple weeks. My sinuses are kicking my butt. Anywho, little Patty says, look at the light, DA. Yeah. Don't go into the light.
Carol Ann.
Anyway, try to get my train of thought back. I was going to say something. Oh, I'm going to try to get out now that we're going to be over here. Since Noah and I are probably going to want to get out of the house a little more since it's so crowded. We're going to try to go do some live streams from Moon Valley and Joe Bald, and we'll probably put those on the Patreon and on the if we can't live stream, I'll probably put the videos on Patreon, and then for those of you who are members here on the channel, because those will be a little more exclusive videos. But we're going to be working on getting some of those out. Hopefully, have those out in the very near future. Just gotta get finished with this stupid move. Chris Burkhardt says we're almost 70 last week, hit 16 last night. Yeah, we were in the 70s, and then it dropped back down to snow and snow flurries for like the last 3 or 4 days. And then today it's starting to get warm. And the last 3 or 4 days we had wind so strong it was blowing the lawn furniture off the front porch. Get yours today, folks.
Yeah, and thank you to everybody who's already got them and left comments and reviews. I'm blown away by how many people have talked about how much they enjoyed it, because that guy will tell you, even up into the point where I hit submit, I was like, this thing sucks. Ain't nobody gonna like it, wasn't I? Can't hear you.
You can hear me now?
Down here, yeah.
So you're not the only author that does that. I think that every time I'm about to upload a book, I'm like, I hope people don't hate this one.
I knew, I was just like, man, I'm gonna be lucky if this thing makes $10. Only like if I figured I'll sell, like to you and a few others and things like that. But I'm like, there's no way. And I think, where am I at right now? Units. This month I have sold 73 so far, and I'm blown away by that. I was like,
well, you're just getting started, brother. It's going to be go up way up from there.
Yep. Just before we got in the studio, I cracked 30,000 words in book 2. So
nice.
And I'm only in chapter 13. So this one's going to be considerably bigger.
I would already have the new Lakeview Man book out if it weren't for all this move. I would have been done weeks ago.
Yep.
I haven't had a chance to finish it.
You were clipping along pretty good on that.
Yeah, this really had a horrible time. It has wiped us out financially pretty much. We are kind of screwed till payday, if you know what I mean. But we'll survive. I mean, it sucks. It is what it is, though. Everything's paid. It's just going to be a little lean between now and the end of the month. And big shout out to E.D. Testerman, Eric. He came to the house and helped us move all the big appliances. If it hadn't been for him, I don't know how we'd have got all that crap moved.
That's good.
He showed up at the house with a trailer and his pickup, and we got the fridge and the deep freeze and pretty much all the heavy stuff. There was no way that was going to get into my little hatchback. Holly says, where's the best place to buy your books for both of us? Amazon. Amazon's probably the best place to get them. Or you can check my website out, which is DAEroberts.net. All of the books are on there, but the links just take you to Amazon. I mean, because I do an Amazon exclusive because I make more of a percentage than I would if I shopped it around at other websites. And it still shows up on other websites. I mean, Book Nook still has it, and Book You has it, but it's an Amazon affiliate link. That way, it's not actually listed on their website. So my books are still available on other sites. It's just I do have an Amazon exclusive thing, so I make more profits. Except with Amazon Audible, which is a whole different kettle of fish. That sucks.
Yeah.
Robbie's getting into that, figuring that out.
Well, and if it wasn't for Taylor and Tyler and Kevin and Caroline saying that they were thinking about doing it, I wouldn't do it, because I don't mind if they decide they want to do it, I don't mind letting them do it. And when I was talking, Kevin's like, I don't see Tyler doing your voice. He said, I think I should be the one doing your voice. And I'm like, well, it's not technically me. It's just, I just use, he said, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I know what you mean. So the 4 of them are talking about getting something together and not just doing my books, but doing other books too. So I'm like,
there's always people looking for narrators.
Yep. That's what I told them. I said, if y'all want to do it, then that's fine. I said, because I'll let them take some profits off of that. But yeah, like I said, I wish I'd have done it sooner now, but I know I wasn't ready before. And I'm glad I finally did it though, because I'm having a lot of fun doing this.
It is a fun process. Neil Decker says there's Genosco sightings in eastern Ohio. Dude, if you got links to that, send that to me. I'd like to check that out.
Roger said he got my book and he's got to sweet talk Heather into reading it to him. Trust me, Roger, I wrote it, so there's not a lot of big words in it other than when Doc's talking. When Doc's talking, there's some big words in there, but you know, I had to get him to text them to me, and I just copied and pasted them in there so I make sure they were done right.
I just take notes when you two are talking to each other.
You get endless material from the two of us.
It's never dull.
Well, and and we were having one of our conversations, and I asked y'all if y'all saw somebody, and I can't remember who it was, put on there that they love the banter between Rick and Doc. And I said, well, the banter between Rick and Doc is a lot like the banter between Doc and Jed is a lot like the banter between Robbie and Doc. If you hear me and Doc talking here on the show, then you read any of his books or my book, you'll see that it's honest interpretation of what the two of us actually. And we kept him in stitches when we were in Missouri, because that's the way we are in real life too. I lost track of how many times he turned around, looked at me, and said, "Sit down, prepare to shut the fuck up and listen." Well, I mean, that's just the way we are. It's
He'd be talking to me, and he'd turn to look at Robbie and goes, "That means this." I know what it means.
That's what it says, Steve. He had to text them to me, and I copied and pasted them.
Squatch and Holler says, Robbie, do you write in your voice in your head? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I write in my voice, DA's voice, and Doc's voice.
Poor bastard.
But you said you do the same thing. And Doc does the same thing. When Doc reads it, when he reads a line between Doc and Jed, he hears Jed's lines in my voice, and he reads his lines in his voice in his head. So it's, I guess that's just a thing that you pick up.
Limited, but you get paid from a fund. You don't get make as much as you would if somebody actually bought the book or bought the Kindle version. But you still do make you make it becomes off of number of pages read at that point.
I don't know what the number is, but say it's like 25 cents for every 15 pages or something like that. Whatever.
I don't know what it is, but it's not quite as much as you would make from a full Kindle download.
No, but I mean because I watched it one day, and I watched it just kind of roll over, and I think that day I made like $9 or something. I didn't sell anything, but it had one borrow, so it was based on the pages that somebody was reading that day.
Hi, Irene. She said, "Sorry, I'm late. My Morgan had her full." Awesome. Always like seeing young colts stumbling around for the first time. It's so cute. Neil Decker says, ran into a flipping Gugway last year at Salt Fork. Dude, there are Gugway reports not too far from here. So the people described a Gugway type creature running them out of War Eagle State Park down in Arkansas, down by Eureka Springs. What state is Salt Fork State Park in, Neil? I know that from somewhere, but I can't think of it.
I immediately my mind immediately went to Utah because of Salt Lake City, but I know that's probably not where it is. But
I think Salt Fork.
I've heard of it, but I can't think of where
I
it's
have
at.
too, but I cannot for the life of me place where I heard it from. Oh, it's in Ohio. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, I think we heard about it when we were up at that Bigfoot conference in Ohio.
Might have
I
been.
think someone was mentioning Salt Fork about going squatching up there. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good place to go.
Yeah, because I know I've heard of it. I just couldn't remember where I'd heard of it.
I think it was Wayne. Wayne Tethrow was telling us about it
Might have been.
when we were sitting out there talking out there just outside the little meeting room.
Yep. Speaking of that, you hear who's going to be at the conference this year? Russell Acord. From that, he's that former military police officer from that. He's legit, but he's going to be speaking at that one this year. He's probably going to be somebody good. We can pick the brain.
Assuming he'll talk to us. I've gone up to talk to some of those quote unquote celebrities from shows, and they just blow you off.
Oh yeah. I know one right off the bat.
Yeah, I can think of one right off the top of my head that wouldn't talk to you.
Yeah. But he's somewhat of a celebrity, so I shall refrain from speaking his name. Because the last time I did that, it ticked somebody off, so I'm not going to say it, even though it's true.
There's some stuff coming to light about that particular person too. I'll send you the link on.
Cool.
Somebody sent me a video as a compilation video from that show, Mountain Monsters, and it was just a compilation of them, like tripping and firing their weapon. That show has got to be fake, because if somebody had a negligent discharge like that, no camera crew would ever go out with them. That would be such an insurance nightmare.
I can't believe they let them goofballs carry live ammunition or loaded weapons anyway.
It's got to be blanks. It's got to all be staged. There's no way these guys are tripping, firing shotguns off.
Well, I think I've only heard.
Any camera crew would be like, yeah, we can't, this is too much of a risk. We're going to get somebody killed.
I want to say I've only seen them fire guns on that show like maybe twice.
This video compilation was like 20 times of one of them tripping and firing off a weapon.
Well, I'm sure they fired them more times, but I'm saying that actually made it on air, because I had never seen backstage stuff or behind the scenes stuff. Appreciate it, Neil. We'll talk to anybody. Sometimes people just come up and talk to us, and we wish wouldn't come up and talk to us and tell us stories about murder and things like that, and we're both like, yeah, okay, but we still talk to them.
I will ask me like the videos. Yeah, I always enjoy those videos, dude. So anytime you find stuff like that, feel free to send it. I don't know how much I can discuss this on the air yet, but I have found out more about what went on with the Dallas County Cannibals.
Heavy now.
Yeah, and let's just say that rabbit hole goes much deeper.
Well, I kind of figured it had to, especially with the way you said everything, just kind of like they were getting ready to serve the warrant, and mysteriously the house catches on fire, and that was pretty much the end of it. I'm like, something don't stir the Kool-Aid on that one.
Yeah, well, if we weren't on the air, I'd knock your hat off with what I found out, but I don't think I can talk about it yet. I've got to get. I can't. I don't know how much I can say without letting the cat out of the bag. Let's just say I got some inside information that I probably wasn't supposed to get, and until I can corroborate that with an independent source, I don't want to burn my source, if that makes sense.
Oh, I completely understand.
I've got to do some digging so I can corroborate that another way, so I can say, this is how I found it, because I don't want to burn anybody. But yeah, that rabbit hole gets deep, buddy. It's bad. Like way worse than we thought.
Worse than we thought.
Much worse than we thought.
Did any of it have anything to do with the conversation and I had about the first time we were there when we went out? What we said we wanted to do? Was any of that involved in?
Yes, and worse.
Ooh, okay. At least I know which direction we're going in.
I gotta be very careful as I start digging into this, because I might get some very, very unwanted attention. Let's just say this could get really ugly digging into it, and like write an expose kind of book on it, that kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah. Wolfric Ridley says, "What's the story in the house that you can say?" What I can say, and this is publicly available, you can Google this. If you search Dallas County cannibals or Windyville, Missouri cannibals or Moon Valley cannibals, if you search any of that, you're going to find these exact same articles. What I can say is about 40 miles from where I'm sitting right now, much closer to Eric Testerman's house, by the way. He lives just off the Niagara River, and Moon Valley is on the Niagara River. But he's only about 15 miles away, maybe 20. He's way closer than I am. But there was weird stuff going on down there for years, and finally, word got out that these two guys that lived in this backwoods shack had a woman in their house in a dog cage, and pictures got leaked, and they raided the place, but if I remember correctly, it was too late. The woman had already been killed, because these guys were arrested for was it dismembering a corpse or something like that, and murder.
Yeah.
The other charges were never formally filed of cannibalism, but it's believed that those two had been taking people and eating them for a very, very long time, possibly 30 years or more, which really creeps me out because 30 some years ago, I used to spend a lot of time in that valley camping and fishing, but I never went unarmed. So we heard somebody walking around our campsite a couple of times, and we used to think it was Bigfoot related, but I'm beginning to wonder if it might not have been. One of the guys was an over-the-road trucker, and you can draw your conclusions about how easy it would be to abduct somebody and keep them tied up in your sleeper, and not be suspected because you're 1,000 miles away by the time they're reported missing, that kind of thing. And when those two were arrested for these charges, before they could get the warrant to come in and search the house burnt down to the ground. I mean, to the ground. And even today, you can go by and see it. There's nothing really left of it, but there's still bone fragments all over the place, all around that. And it's chained off now. It's no trespassing. You're supposed to go in there, but I've walked around in there, and I found shards of bone for 50 yards in every direction of that house, and it looks like deer bone.
You can see it as long as Doc's not driving. Doc's driving, you ain't gonna see nothing because you're gonna go by it, mock.
Down. Dr. 45 says, "Does the School of Metaphysics play a part?" All I can say is maybe. I don't know for sure at this point, but let's just say that there are other people not far from that place that are heavily suspected to be involved. God, I really wish I could say more, because what I can say right now would just put everybody on their ear.
We're gonna use the Dracula dead and loving it thing. I'm leaning towards yes or no. We're working on the theory. What theory is that? The theory of yes or no.
Until I can corroborate this, I don't want to say anything more other than what's publicly available. These two were suspected multi-person cannibals, but they were only ever formally charged with abandonment of corpse, or something to do with the corpse, and murder. They were never charged with cannibalism. None of that was ever brought up. And I think you can just draw your own conclusions on why it's no longer being investigated. And that's really all I can say. I am going to be doing some digging with some folks that I still have contacts with. Um, Dr. 45 says my aunt has a friend who lives in Moon Valley. Um, would they be willing to talk? If so, can you get in touch with me, Dr. 45? If they'd be willing to talk to me, but people that live down there know more than what's going on. And this is again personal information. Robbie can back this up. Just a mile or so up the gravel road from where those two guys' house burnt down, there's another place, and I've always gotten bad vibes from that place. But in the field by where their shacks are, and they're not even really houses, in the field is a whole parking lot full of cars, and a lot of them just look like they were just parked there and left. A lot of them still have tags on them. A lot of them are still in really good shape. You guys seen the movie Wrong Turn? I think it's a situation like that. Robbie and I, we've said this before. I would like to be able to get in there and record some of the VIN numbers off those cars and run them. But I'm afraid if I tried, I'd probably get shot. I know they're not going to agree to let me go in there. And some of these cars date back to what looked like the 50s and 60s. And yeah, some of them are fairly modern cars too. So yeah, I don't have anything but my own conjecture and suspicion on this, and Robbie agrees with me. I think some folks went missing and the cars just got stuck out there in that field, and nobody's ever questioned it. So it's just really weird circumstances, and you can drive past their place and it just gives you the heebie-jeebies. I mean, that place, yeah, I wouldn't want to break down right there. I really wouldn't.
Well, if that Jeep had tore up when we was driving by the dock, it wouldn't matter because we'd have coasted down the hill and up about 10, 15 miles on up the hill that way as fast as Doc was
I
driving.
would have got out and pushed if he had to. He's ready to go.
Look, there it is. I don't care.
He didn't want to look at that old little doll village either. He didn't want to look at it. Just like, nope, not even looking out the window. Okay, Dr. 45 says, I'll ask, but knowing my aunt, she won't want to upset her friend. Okay, I get that. But if she is willing to, I would love to talk to her. I'd even drive out there and do it. Because I'd rather have that kind of conversation not on the phone. But if she doesn't want to, I totally get it. Cajun Dog says, sounds like bad medicine. That whole valley's bad medicine now. It's just something about that place that just puts you off. And that used to be one of my favorite places to go when I was in my teens and early 20s. I'd go down there and just sleep in my truck on the riverbank. I mean, I did it all the time. Eric Festerman, just on his show just a little bit ago, he was talking about having river parties and camping down the river. That was one of the places we used to go. I mean, we'd have a bonfire down there back when that was a campground. We'd have bonfires. We'd float the river. We'd fish. We'd spend the whole weekend down there and never had any problems. But now that whole place just has really, really sinister vibe to it. And it has for a good long time. And now I kind of know why.
Yeah, but speaking from somebody who was never there when it was a destination, so to speak, I can see how, because it's a cool little spot. I mean,
it's a beautiful valley.
Yeah, but the very first time I went in there, I told DA, I said, "Take me back to Joe Ball, drop me off at Combs Ferry. I would a whole lot rather spend time by myself in Combs Ferry or Joe Ball going through what we went through at both of those places than at Moon Valley by myself. That place, I don't get scared of a whole lot, but that place creeped me out."
Well, even that night, you and Noah and Doc were down there when we were doing the calls. When we were calling in, what Doc saw, don't hold the line, man. We called in, what looked to be a family group of Bigfoot, and they were acting weird. They damn near got me and Robbie. If Doc hadn't spotted what they were doing, me and Robbie was fixed to get ourselves cut off. And we were damn close to doing it. They were within probably 10 yards of cutting us off from the rest of the group. Robbie and I headed up the road with our pistols drawn, trying to get closer to where Doc said he saw the body heat. And while we were doing that, while our attention was on that, he's like, "Hey, boys, you better stop and back up." We're like, "Why?" He said, "Because there's one slipping around behind you." And we turned, and the woods were to our right. And I'm like, "Okay, I got this way." And me and Robbie start backing up. I was watching one way, he's watching the other. But if Doc hadn't have spotted that one, it would have been in behind us and between the vehicle and Noah and Doc. We'd have got cut off completely.
Yeah, it was a.
I think we kind of did it to ourselves because when we tried just I tried the tongue pop, we got a response, but it wasn't close. It wasn't until you did that howl. Once you did that howl, man, they came in quick.
Well, and I think Steve I think he was on the money with that when we were talking about Bent Penny. When he said, that was the equivalent of walking in and dropping something on the table as a challenge.
Yeah, I think you basically made a dog fan call in a Bigfoot area, and they didn't like it. It wasn't just a couple minutes they were surrounding us.
So probably not our smartest thing that we've ever done, but we got some responses though.
Dr. 45 says, "I have a friend who also vacationed there and shocked the crap out of him with the Moon Valley story. His son fished there recently." Do you go down to Moon Valley during the day? It's beautiful, but it does not take long for that creepy feeling to start sinking in as soon as the sun gets below the edge of the valley. I mean, it is just a creepy place, especially at night.
Jennifer, I don't want to find out if that's what they were getting ready to do or not.
Yeah, I don't know if they were amorous or hungry.
But let's be real and let's be honest about it. It's probably not going to be the last time that I put myself in a stupid situation like that.
Yeah, me either. And I'm already talking about going back down to Moon Valley, whether I go alone or not. I do have an M1 Grand, so I think it's going to make the trip with me next time. Robin Ray says, "Dang cannibals mess up some fun locations." True, and I was talking to a buddy of mine who's Navajo, and I was telling him the story, and he said once that kind of evil has touched a place, it will always attract evil. He said that valley's never going to be the same. He said if there were cannibals down there, that stain of evil is always going to be on that place. And he told me to be very careful if I go back down there. Well, I don't go, but yeah.
And not for nothing, we know what is linked. What other thing is linked to cannibalism, which may be a reason that Doc does not like going down there.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I know whether it was the setting for Curse of the Wendigo. Cry of the Wendigo for Dark Frontiers. But can you imagine passing through that place on horseback the way it was back then?
No.
I'd be making sure I cleared that damn valley for the sunset.
But
Neil says he'll go with me. Well, I may take you up on that. I know Noah will go, but I'm wanting to put a group to go down there and stay like late into the night to see what we can get.
Well, that time me, you, and Noah was down there, we were down there well after midnight. That first time we ever went down there.
Oh yeah.
But that was during the summer that time, and we didn't. That
night, me, you, and Doc and Noah were down there. It was active.
Yeah.
Wolfric Ridley says, "Weren't there grizzlies? The last grizzly was reported killed in Missouri. I want to say in like 1868. So in the early 1800s, yeah, there would have been grizzly and wood bison roaming this area. But that whole area used to belong to the Osage. So there was lots of times we went down there. We'd find arrowheads along the riverbanks." Steve Patton says just take a snow machine just for distraction in case we need to unask the AO.
Yeah, and Leaf said snow machine there as the distraction.
Neil, shoot me a message and give me your contact info. So if you're in the area or anywhere close, I may take you up on that, because if I'm going back down there, if I'm going back down there, I definitely want to make sure I got a group. Dr. 45 says he'll go. He's got family in Lebanon. You got family in Lebanon? That's where I was born. I'm born and raised in Lebanon. We might be kin somewhere down the road, because my dad used to say you couldn't swing a cat in Macleod County without hitting one of our relatives. 3D, no, Moon Valley is actually farther away. It's closer to Lake of the Ozarks than it is to Table Rock Lake. There's some creepy places down on Table Rock Lake, don't get me wrong, but Moon Valley is the other direction from Springfield. It's closer to Bennett Springs State Park. It's maybe 4 or 5 miles from Bennett Springs State Park. If you Google Moon Valley, Missouri, you can find it, but you're going to be driving down some gravel roads to get there. There's no paved roads that lead into Moon Valley.
DA, look at Arkansas Hog Hunters comment.
Hypothetical here, boys, but what if the cannibals were also... God, I want to say what I know. God, this is killing me. It's worse than that. It's worse than that.
But that's a very good theory, though.
That is a very good theory. E.D. Testament says Bennett Springs is known for Bigfoot and Dogman. More so Bigfoot than Dogman, but yeah, definitely there have been sightings within the Bennett Springs State Park.
Bennett Springs, that was where you said that the guy was cleaning the fish and
took his whole stringer.
Yeah.
He just walked out of the woods, leaned down next to him, and picked his stringer up, went back in the woods.
I'm like, enjoy.
Yeah, he decided that was a great time to pack up his shit and leave.
Oh, boy, would you look at the time? It's 1:30. Get the hell out of here.
Right. All right, Neil, thank you. Dr. 45 says, I basically grew up there. You basically grew up in Lebanon? How old are you, just out of curiosity? We might have run with some of the same crowds. I'll be 55 this year. Ash says he's born in Branson. That's a pretty area down there. A lot of creepy stuff down around Branson too. Arkansas, yeah. Yeah. I cannot wait until I can actually talk about this. When I'm off here and I tell Robbie, he's going to flip his hat, I'll tell you, because this is, we may be on to something really, really, really big here. And the kind of things that might get me a visit told to knock it off kind of big. So, hey, 1980, good to see you, man.
Our normal.
Dr. 45 says 65, Sam. You're only 10 years older than me. So, yeah, I hung around with a lot of people who are quite a bit older than me. Put away a lot of beer with a lot of guys who are quite a bit older than me.
So, we talked a little bit about my book. Y'all just wait for Lakeview Man Dead of Winter to come out. You talk about some stuff that's going to put you on flipping hats and putting people on their butt. This one is going to.
It's got a lot going on in that book.
This one is going to. Some people are going to. It's going to break some people. People are going to be like, "What? No, that didn't. Did that just happen? No."
And there's some twists. There's some definite twists.
Mm-hmm. Y'all gonna love this one, and this, as many knots and loose ends as Heart of Iron tied up, This one ties up a lot more, but it also unties a few of them. It leaves them flopping in the wind.
Yeah, but normally I had a top secret clearance in the military. I'm usually pretty good at keeping my mouth shut, but this is just it is so good, and I promised I wouldn't like just start going public with all this stuff, but I want to so bad, but I've got to find the corroborating. I've got to find the link, and I'm pretty close to doing that. Miss Lene says more twist than a dadgum corkscrew.
Yeah, you're gonna be. Which like I told DA, I'm enjoying writing my second book, but it's like I want to put my book down to read the updates when he gets them. It's one of those books that you're not gonna be able to put it down once it comes out.
I'm pretty excited to get it released. I really am.
It's a good one.
Unfortunately, it would have been out already, but all this crap with the house got kicked up, so I'm way behind where I should have been. I was wanting to be well into the next book, by now, but unfortunately, it is what it is. Wolfric says, "Oh, is there a link to Robbie's book?" Yeah,
I got it. I put it up there.
You got it.
Well, I tried. I don't know if it'll work or not on my phone. So
if you did exclamation point Robbie, it should work.
I don't see it. Well, let me look.
Just Lene did it. Oh, and you did it too. There it goes. It popped up.
There you go, Wolfert. And for some reason,
Eagle girls are here except Sonia.
Do what?
Roxanne said all the Gray Eagle girls are here except Sonia.
Yep, all the Gray Eagle girls.
Bill, appreciate it. Neil Decker says, "I got family all over southern Missouri. I'm due to visit soon, maybe real soon." I would definitely like to have some folks with us when we hit Moon Valley. Last time there were just 4 of us. Now, granted, we were pretty well armed, but I've come to the conclusion that 4 was not enough.
Yeah, we need Combs Ferry numbers at the very least, I think, if not more.
Yeah, 6 to 7 people, maybe 10. Probably a couple of vehicles worth. I was going to say something else. Just slipped my brain. That's funny, little Patty. Because we Gray Eagle girls are loud and proud and many. Roxanne, yeah, the whole area around Moon Valley is pretty creepy. Just, yeah, if you ever find yourself down that way, don't stick around after dark, not unless there's a group of you, because I'm not convinced it's not still going on. If you get what I mean. Also want to get back down to Joe Ball before it gets real warm.
Yeah. Let's see. We've been when it's cold. We've been when it's really hot. We need to go when it's cool.
That seems to be when we have the best results.
Mhm.
Wolfric says, I was wondering if you both think that the U.S. government or another government has Bigfoot or Dogmen that they have captured and have it for study, or do they have to do that just yet? I believe our government has definitely tried to weaponize those things.
Mhm.
I don't believe at all that the government created them in a lab, because sightings on both of them go back centuries, long before our government had the ability, hell, but long before our government even existed. So I don't think they created them, but they have tried to weaponize animals over the past, couple hundred years. They've tried to weaponize orcas and killer whales and dolphin. They've tried to weaponize, oh hell, even in World War II, they tried to crossbreed humans and gorillas. And that was in Russia. So they've tried to weaponize animals in the past, our government and others. And it would not surprise me in the slightest that Bigfoot or Dogman, they've tried it with them as well.
Yeah, and we've actually had shows where we've talked about stuff like that, lots of times. And I anybody that thinks our government is, and as much as I hate to agree with it, I saw a meme on Facebook the other day where it said, it had a picture of the Avengers, and it said how Americans want other people to see them, and it was like, basically it worked its way down to, and I can't remember all of it, but how the rest of the world sees America. And it's true, because it was like, I want to say like some goofy group of like maybe World Police or something like that. The little puppets was, I can't remember what it all, but it was, as bad as it is to say, it's kind of true, because a lot of, I believe in our military, I support our military, I believe in this country, but the idea that most Americans have of what this country is not what this country really is.
I agree.
Or what we should be, rather.
I agree. Steve, you get some time, dude. I'll take you to some places, but definitely hit some places. Hey, Tony. Tony Harris says, I want to keep watching, but I'm going to pop in and say hey to all the fine young cannibals. Just a guy who commented about Russians trying to weaponize belugas. Yeah, I believe it wasn't all that long ago that I want to say it was a Norwegian military vessel found a beluga with a harness on it, with Russian markings on the harness, but nothing was attached to the harness. So yeah, the Russians have tried it probably very recently. Cajun Dog says they tried to weaponize sharks. That, again, does not surprise me.
Well, and that's the basis of Peter Benchley's book, White Shark, was
Nazi experiment.
Yeah, was a Nazi experiment, which is kind of sort of what you were hinting on in Blood Eagle.
They've taken it to the next level.
Mm-hmm. So, that's just, and I'm talking about the book. I'm not talking about the movie, because the movie or the made for TV show, they kind of they spin it on his ear, and it was like it was us doing the experimentation. It was during Vietnam versus I think it was World War II when Benchley had it set originally.
Yeah, it was set right after World War II, I believe.
Yeah, and so minor difference, but I'm talking about the book. That's what the book was based on, was because that's not a stretch, because Nazi Germany was experimenting on everything. I mean, he had people looking for the Spear of Destiny, the Holy Grail.
They tried creating their own werewolves.
Yeah, I mean,
some say they did it.
Well, there's a lot of people that say that group, that Nazi SS group that was called the Werewolves, was not, people, that's just what they called them to scare people. But there's a lot of people say, no, that was not why they called them that. They called them that because they actually were that. So,
I think they probably did succeed.
Oh, I'm sure they're probably, like I said, if anybody that believes their government is goody two shoes.
What if in their research, what if they rediscovered the process by which the Norse made the Ulf Hednar? because their descriptions of those guys being like savages in battle.
Yep.
That no weapon hurt them.
And I mean, that still permeates our history to this day. That's where we get the word berserk, the berserkers.
Hmm.
So, I mean, what do we say all the time? Every legend, every myth that we have has got some basis of truth in it. And we still have it to this day. And there's a reason that we are still allowed to remember this. And, that was one of the things that I liked about Chris Fox's book, because he talked about that genetic memory. And there's not a lot of people that have touched on that. I think that's a really cool ad that, his take was the ISIS engineered the werewolf virus, disease, whatever you want to call it. And she allowed us to remember certain things so we wouldn't ever be caught off guard. And that's why people remembered things like Bigfoot and werewolves and
The Uncanny
vampires.
Valley.
Yeah. But
A genetic memory would explain the Uncanny Valley.
Exactly. And that's how he touched on it. And I thought that was a pretty cool thing to say that, this was an engineered thing, but it was done that way so we don't get caught off guard when whatever big that's going to happen happens.
1980 asked, how's the last book doing in the rankings on Amazon? It's still at number 3 in Western horror. Even it's been out over a month now, and it's still at number 3 in Western horror. But in the on the print edition, it's slipped down a bit, but it's still doing fairly well. It's not selling like it was, obviously, but that happens. It's not a number 1 first release again, but hopefully I can recapture that mojo when I release Dead of Winter.
Yeah, and those, we were talking about this the other day. Those categories are a lot of times are just hit and miss, because it's not just, oh, well, this is exactly what my book goes in. A lot of times you just got to generalize what you think it might be. And, it's crapshoot a lot of times about what categories you're going to put it in. And then if you mess up and you put your paperback in a category that says Kindle on it, and you get a message from Amazon, you need to remove your book from this.
Exactly.
You put it in the wrong category. So, I mean,
there's both a science and an art to what categories you pick, and I'm still trying to figure that little golden sweet spot out, and it's kind of hit or miss. 3D Havoc says, LOL, just randomly came across the School of Metaphysics randomly out in the middle of nowhere in Moon Valley Road when I was paying around. Yeah, it's out there. It's kind of, well, it's a cult. I mean, I may catch some flack for that, but it's basically a cult.
Mm-hmm. Were you talking?
Okay. Mentioned the United States used bats against Japan. That's true, because most of the housing for people was made of some type of paper, and they created these little incendiary devices that they would strap to bats and release them over Japan. So when the bats would nest up underneath these houses, those incendiaries would go off and burn the houses down. It didn't really work very well, so they quit using it. But yeah, they tried that in World War II. They've tried all kinds of stuff. And we still use animals in combat. I mean, everything from horses on down to dogs.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't, when they think of using animals and all that kind of stuff, a lot of people kind of put dogs off to the side and don't count that. But I mean, it's really the same thing. I mean, maybe we don't experiment on them, maybe we don't teach them to go plant bombs, but I mean, they're dogs that we teach to sniff out explosives, and that's dangerous on the dog. Obviously it's dangerous on the handler too, but
Oh yeah. But there's a history of using, war dogs back to ancient Greece and ancient Rome.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the dispersion of the different types of Mastiff breeds all date back to basically Roman battle dogs that they used to send into battle with armor. And everywhere they went, they took these big, massive. If I remember correctly, they were called them Molossus, and the actual breed doesn't exist anymore. But they took those war dogs with them everywhere, and they crossbred with other dogs everywhere they went. And that's why we've got so many Mastiff breeds that we've got today. We've got the Boer Bell, we've got which is the African Mastiff, the King Corso. All these massive Mastiff breeds come from
the Russian wolfhounds that the Vikings used to use. I mean, and they even hit on that, which I thought was pretty cool for them to actually put it in the 13th Warrior in the movie. Bullseye had a Russian wolfhound that went with him all the time, and it actually showed that. So I mean, like you said, it goes back. Every civilization. I mean, I think a lot of times people just kind of, I don't know, working dogs are working dogs. But look at all the things that dogs do for us.
Oh yeah, I mean we've got animals trained to herd our cattle. There are even dogs that are smelling out cancer.
Yeah,
therapy animals.
Yeah, we got a teacher at my school that's got an emotional support animal. She got a little poodle that she brings with her to school every day. She's a 3rd grade teacher and has a dog in her room. I'm like, man, if I'd had a teacher that had a dog in the room, I wouldn't have learned nothing, which I didn't learn anything anyway, obviously. But that's all I would have looked at was the dog. But I mean, and that's the thing. We had somebody, one of the bar owners, one time called us and said that they wanted us to find this guy and tell him he couldn't bring his service animal because I didn't think it was a legal service animal. Me and my partner looked at each other and said, we ain't touching that.
Nope.
Because if it's a service animal, it has every right to be in there. But there's only certain questions that you can ask people about their service animal. If you don't ask the right questions, you can be in trouble. So, like, sorry, if you want to tell him he can't come back in, you can tell him. And then if something happens and he gets out of the way, we'll tell him, say, well, she's putting you on trespass, not your dog. I said, but we're not going to go find him and tell him he can't bring that dog back in there because I'm not messing with federal mandates. But ow, I'm okay as long as I don't have to move too much.
Hey, Robbie, that sucks. I feel so bad for you.
Even breathing.
In there. Thank you, Dorothy. We're glad to be back. I'll tell you a little bit of history that Noah dug up, and I don't even know where he dug it up, but he was telling me about it. That doll village, that up there in Moon Valley.
Yeah, the creepy doll village.
Creepy little doll village. Noah said that there's people that say if you drive by it at night and then turn around and go back by, stuff will be moved.
Well, that would have messed Doc up if that's true.
Yeah, Doc would have fled the valley whether we went with him or not.
We would have never known because he would have went by mock Jesus again, and we'd have never seen it.
For a little guy, he's got a lead foot.
Yep, and he can drive the heck out of a big car.
Even if he can only barely see over the dash.
Yep.
I think he was sitting on a phone book.
Old tactical Smurf himself.
That's right.
Excuse me, the hillbilly Smurf.
Hillbilly Smurf. There we go. I think you can tell we're both just glad to be back. We ain't even talking much. Just enjoying being here.
And that's why I said, when you when you were asking about the show titles, I said, let's just talk. I said, we ain't been on in a while. I said, I don't think anybody will have we'll answer questions, talk about the books. They left Missouri before we blinked. He did step on the gas when we pulled out of the hotel.
Been like that song "Uneasy Rider" by Charlie Daniels Band. He didn't slow down until he was almost to Arkansas. Mrs. Moon, yes, we are in a different house. It's a temporary. It's about half the size of our other house, so we're kind of crammed in here like sardines. Hopefully, it won't take them too terribly long, but we're kind of anticipating it's probably going to be 2 to 3 months. Maybe longer, depending on what they run into when they start ripping walls out.
Yeah, Doc definitely knows what the skinny pill's for. We found that out on Blanc Road that night.
Yeah, he was handling that big old SUV like a stroker ace. That's another place I want to go back down to.
Blunt Road again? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get back down there. I can afford to get some low light cameras. I really want to go back down to all those places and film, especially now that we know we can get into Combs Ferry by car.
Yeah.
It's just only certain times of the day you can do it.
Paul, maybe Taylor and Tyler and my son and his wife are talking about doing some voice narrating and acting type stuff. If they decide they're going to do it, then I'll do it. Other than that, the way DA's talked about it, the way Amazon does takes 75%. Isn't that what they take on Audible?
Yeah, the author and the narrator split 25%, and Amazon keeps the rest. And all they do is host the file. So, tell me how that makes sense that the author and the narrator that are doing the work have to split 25% while Amazon keeps 75%. That's why I haven't been in any real hurry to put any of my books out on Kindle. On Amazon Audible. It's because they do authors so dirty.
Yeah. Billy, as far as mine goes, I just hit 30,000 words. I'm in chapter 13. If this rib injury hadn't happened this week, I probably would have been closer to having it done. Maybe in a week or two, maybe. I can't answer for DA. I think he said something earlier about it, but
hopefully, then, if we can get the final stuff done at the other house, because we got to put a bunch of stuff in storage, simply not room over here for it. So we're going to go back over there tonight after the show, and then probably all day tomorrow, getting stuff put into storage. And once that's done, then it's probably going to be a week or so before I've got that book done. Waiting on cover. I've still got about 10 to 15,000 words. I'm at about 65,000 words, and most of my books average around 75, but this one may push out to a little bit closer to 80. So when I get this one done, we'll get it out, and then I will have 2 that I'm working on right on the back of it, right on its heels. One's going to be called The Mountain Devil of the Absarokas. It's kind of a standalone novel, but it's going to have a few familiar characters in it, not a lot of them. It's going to be a throwback to, it's going to be set in modern times, but it's going to be kind of more of a throwback to the Dark Frontiers books, where they're pretty much off grid for the whole book. And then the one that I'll be working on simultaneously with that one is the next installment of the Codename Wild Hunt series, and it's tentatively titled Gray Lady Down. pending, a little bit more research, the title may evolve, but it's if the next installment should be coming soon. And right on the heels of that, I've got another Nightmare Hunter book I need to finish up, and then I will probably have another installment of the Dark Frontiers books, and then maybe if I've got time before end of summer, I'd like to get another Man's Marauders done.
Yeah, and my next one, or the one I'm working on now, is Shadow Walker's The Creature of Skateboard Swamp. And I've got ideas for book 3, but I got to talk with DA, see what he thinks about it first, see if he thinks that's because I got an idea, I just don't know if it'll work or not. So I've got to run it past DA, see if he thinks
it'll help, man.
See if he thinks it'll, because the direction that you and I had kind of talked about certain things that are going to be revealed in this book, I don't want to go too far away. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that I'm still heading in the right direction for that. And if I get too far off in the weeds, then that kind of blows that out of the water.
I can see that, but I think if it's what we were talking about, the last time we were discussing the next sequels, I think you've got a lot of stuff right there in your area. That any direction you choose to go, I think it's going to be the right direction, because you've got so much, native folklore right there that you can play on.
And that's kind of where I'm going with that. And I know y'all quit being so freaking cryptid about it. Cryptid. But I've got so many ideas that I want to, but I want to do it right. It doesn't just need to be thrown out there, because if I do it right, it's going to open some doors for both of us. And I think y'all are really going to like it. So it just needs to be done the right way.
Billy Mitchum says, just want to say to both of you, love every one of your books, and I've read all of them, and yours was also great, Robbie.
Appreciate it.
Robbie's going to build his own universe too, the Robbie-verse.
But there is a caveat to that, which I can't tell. DA knows what I'm talking about, but there's a caveat to what that universe is going to be like, or what it is. And this book's going to kind of maybe I think there's some people starting to figure some stuff out, because there was one of the reviews, I don't know if you saw it or not, but somebody said, and what's funny about it, I think it was one of the 4-star reviews that said they had never seen the idea, or had the idea, or heard of the idea of making another author a main character in another author's book. They thought that's a pretty cool concept. So, just a guy, to answer your question, if you read the first book, that kind of sort of answers that question, but second book will really answer that question. Because there's some revelations.
4-star review. It says it's not too often that an author uses other authors as main characters as enjoyably as found in this story. That's funny. I like that. Pete says, what about just having the books read on YouTube channel? We were doing that for the longest time right here, doing what we call the Redneck Reading Association. But I may be looking into doing those as more private videos in the future, because when Cam does them, Cam's got a huge channel, 200,000+. So from what's the word I'm looking for? Just from the
sheer size of it.
Yeah, because of the number of views he gets, they do pretty well. But my channel is so small. I mean, I'm not really making anything by doing them on my channel. Granted, I would love to have a 200,000 plus subscribers, but we don't. We got less than 10. So we're going to be looking closely at what we're going to be doing from this point forward. We may do something with Patreon. We may do something with private videos on YouTube. But just as much as I like just sharing the stories, and I hate to sound I don't want this to sound bad, but the books are how I pay my bills, and I need those to be profitable. I'm putting a lot of time into them, so we may have to put them where they're either part of the membership or part of the Patreon, so those can be listened to on there. This is something we're just kind of I'm looking into at this point. Do some on Cam's channel. I don't know how well books narrated by me would do on Cam's channel, and Cam just hasn't had the time to do them. It's been almost 2 years since he's done one. So, and I get it. Cam's busy. Cam's a busy dude. I don't fault him in any way, shape, or form. He's got his day job that he does, and he's got his own channel to take care of. He can't just all he doesn't just exist to do my books. So he's got his own life and his own channel and his own job and family and all that. So I don't fault the man in any way, shape, or form. He's a great guy, super dude, and I wish him nothing but the absolute best. I've got to figure something out because the way things have been, we've been treading water at best. So I got to figure out a way to better market these books, to make something return off of the audio, which Amazon Audible is not the way. So we've got to figure something out. Unfortunately, it sucks, but that's just the way it is. I don't want to talk like I'm being greedy or nothing, because I'm really not. But the whole idea of putting the books out, it was to try to provide for my family and leave them something. My health ain't exactly been the best the last few years, and I better strike while the iron's hot, get as much out as I can, because when I'm gone, they're gone.
Yeah, and kind of same. It's not. I don't use them to pay my bills yet, but this is what I'm trying to build to, because I got till 2030 when I can retire, and I got to have something that's going to supplement what I'm going to lose when I hang it up. So that's what I'm trying to build this for, is to be able where I don't have to. My dad has been retired from the sheriff's office for he put 40 years in total in law enforcement, and he still has to go out and try to scrimp and scratch, and at 70 something years old, and I don't want to have to do that. If I can sit here and write these books that I enjoy writing and have it make what I need it to make, then that's what I want to do. I don't want to have to keep on going out and doing the stuff that he has to keep doing if I can help it.
Christopher Cart says if you would read books on YouTube or subscription, I'd be in. That would be awesome. I mean, we may switch the ones we've done over to private videos, and then put the new ones, just even when we do them live, just have them members only, and that would help immensely. They wouldn't get the ad revenue, but anybody that wanted to listen to them would be helping out, and that's something we could really use right now. We barely kept our head above water. This whole thing with having to move and everything has just about financially wrecked us. And I'm not trying to say that to make anybody feel bad for us. It's just a fact of life. It has really kicked us when we were already down, and we're struggling to keep our head above water. And we got a whole lot of months left and not a lot of money to live it. So, we fortunately everything that we had to pay is paid. We still got over a week left. Well, almost 9 days of the month left, and not a whole lot to deal with it. Keeping gas and groceries is going to be a little lean. So How much would a subscription be? We'd have to look. I don't know what the subscription rates are right now off the top of my head, because there are already are tiers that you can subscribe to. Any of you guys who are already members of the channel, if you guys know off the top of your head what they are, that would be awesome. I'm going to see if I can look. But memberships. Right now they're $1.99 for Wild Hunt or $4.99 for Nightmare Hunters. So we may have to look at that again, see what we can get done. But right now that's what they are, but it may not stay that. So let me look into it. You know what we haven't done this month because we haven't been on the air?
Memberships.
Let me open the dashboard, and we will see about giving away some memberships. So who would like to win a membership? Because we're going to give away, I believe it's 5.
Yeah, I need to put stuff in the comments so it knows you're there and active, so it'll pick you, or so you have a chance for it to pick you.
Yeah. Make sure y'all guys have been active in the comments. Let me get over to the YouTube. It's being weird. Just a second. Okay, there we are. Yeah, folks are chiming in. Okay, well, Kathy, if you want to try to win a membership, you're going to have to switch over to the YouTube group because you have to be in the YouTube chat because for whatever reason it will not give them away to people that are on Facebook. Miss Lene, would you or one of the other mods put the link to the show, the live show on YouTube right now up so she can switch over? Because I would like to give her a chance to be able to win it as well. Give them just a second to pull that off. Steve, I appreciate it. We're not going to starve, but there's going to be some unpopular meals between now and the end of the month. It's a lot of leftovers, a lot of mac and cheese,
Spam and eggs again,
and mac and cheese and ramen. Just a guy. We won't be doing the Redneck Reading Association tomorrow. Robbie's got to go to his daughter's rehearsal for a wedding, and I'm going to be packing out the other house to try to get the rest of it in storage. So maybe next week we'll see. We'll see if we got things straightened out by then. Hopefully we do.
Not her rehearsal. We're just going to look at the venue that they're wanting.
Okay.
Don't wish it away that quick. Still won't stop walking around like this tomorrow, but
okay. Hopefully she's had a chance to get over here. Yeah, Chris, exactly. Thank you, Irene. Man, Miss Lene, we're looking forward to meeting you. Okay, you guys are here.
She's not getting married till next year. We're just going to look at the venue that they're looking at. It's just
Ryan. I would disagree, brother. I cannot stand spam. My mother used to make it all the time when I was a kid, and to this day, I still hate that stuff. Okay, how about we give away 5?
Let's do it.
We're giving 5 away right now. Here we go. All right, 5 memberships. Darcy got one. C Blanton got one. Ooh, Blantons. I'd love to have some Blantons right now. KC got one. Michelle N got
and Philip Miller.
and got one. Awesome. Hey, it didn't give one to me this time. I'm glad. I hate it when it does that. It just aggravates the crap out of me, but it's YouTube. I can't control it. For some reason, it always throws my name in the hat. I'm like, it's my channel, damn it. Stop doing that. Now let's do 5 more, shall we?
We shall.
There we go. 5 more. Oh, Brian Barber got one.
Baby
Hulk himself. Missouri Broad got one. Polonius Perk. Who got one?
Kevin.
Kevin, awesome. Polonius Perk got one. Henry got one. Pure Blood Prophet got one. Awesome.
Oh, that was Kevin saying congratulations. It just went by so fast.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I didn't see it where it said Kevin, but.
Well, it was in green. It went by so fast. Because most of the time it puts the winners in green.
Congrats to the folks who won. We do have some private videos that are already up, but we're probably going to be moving to doing a private video for the Redneck Reading Association. That's on the burner right at the moment. All right, I can shut that down. I don't need that window open. Lordy. Well, what do you guys think? I'll get you all's input. Right now, the memberships are set to $1.99 and $4.99. If we do a Redneck Reading Association every Sunday, that's 4 a month. What do you guys think would be fair, a fair price for those? Should I keep it at $1.99 and $4.99, or should I do $4.99 and $9.99? I don't want to be unfair about it, or I don't want to be a jerk about it. But what do you guys think? How do you become a member on the mobile phone? If you're watching through the YouTube app, at the bottom of the screen should be right next to where you're typing in your chat, should be a little $ icon, and I believe you can join it through there. Or at the bottom of the screen of the window where it says the name of the podcast. Well, let me share my screen and I will just kind of point it out. I don't know if this applies to the mobile version or not, but it should. If you look right down here in this corner where it says "We're back" and the name of the podcast, there's a little join button right there. If you push that, it should let you join. Hey, Challen. Oh. And Robbie, thank you, brother.
I figured so. That
I didn't realize how trippy that looked with all the windows going back into infinity. But what do you guys think? I mean,
I just want, I've been a member for 27 months and I'm a co-host, so I didn't realize it'd been 27 months. That's a pretty good long time.
been a hot minute.
Yep. I like Neil's thinking. I just don't know if anybody else like that.
Eddie Wade says, DA, I heard a little kid call her mom's macaroni Funky Roni. I like to do different stuff with my macaroni. Like I'll take a couple of chicken breasts and marinate them and grill them and shred the chicken. And I'll make the mac and cheese just like I normally would, then add the chicken and about 1.5 cups, 2 cups of barbecue sauce and mix it all up, kind of a barbecue chicken macaroni. It's pretty good. Or sometimes I'll put like smoked sausage in. I'll throw some smoked sausage on the grill, then cut it up, put that in there, and put some other kinds of cheese. I can spice up my mac and cheese and ramen. Noah's a whiz with ramen, man. That kid can make ramen almost like it come from a restaurant. But I got to watch my ramen intake because it's very high in sodium. Thank you, Doctor 45. Appreciate it, brother. Mark D says, "Is there a link you can post to subscribe?" I don't think I can link it. Don also said they make tuna map. Mac, I'm not a tuna fan. I don't like fish. Never have. Arkansas says throw some hot sauce in for good measure. I do like to dice up some peppers and throw it in stuff. I cook with peppers all the time. In for UPD, yeah, I make a lot of chili mac too. There's so much you can do with macaroni. It's pretty versatile.
Wayne just became a member.
Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate it, man. Kathy Steen says, "How much is a monthly membership?" Or the monthly memberships, there's one that's $1.99 and one that's the $4.99. I'm probably going to set the videos to where they're in the $4.99 category, where you've got to be a member at that level. And that's the Nightmare Hunter level, not the Wild Hunt level. Wild Hunt level gives you a bunch of emojis and stuff like that, and some of the videos. But I think all of the book readings, because those are like 2-hour shows, 3-hour shows. I think we'll put those behind as the upper tier level.
Lene just got a membership too.
Thank you, Miss Lene. Little Patty says, "Tony, I cook with Tony Chachere's all the time. That is a staple in my kitchen." Yes, of course, I've mentioned it in the books too. I put that stuff in. I put it in my spaghetti sauce. Me and Noah make spaghetti sauce from scratch, and it's an affair. It takes hours to make just the sauce. And when we make the pasta sauce, I put Tony Chachere's. That Cowboy Kent's. Not Cowboy Kent's, that Cowboy Sloppy Joe's I made for you and Doc. That's got Tony Chachere's.
That was good.
And we love that. That's one of our favorites.
Neil, we invariably always end up talking about food at some point in the show.
Oh, God, yeah. And Miss Lene said she's going to help me compile the recipe book. So I've got to start getting a handle on that, because I've got a ton of recipes I can put in it. I just haven't compiled them. I'm a writer. I don't know the first thing about making a recipe book. That's what's really held me back on releasing a recipe book all this time. Is I don't know how to do one. T. Davis says the no salt Tony's is the best. I may have to look into getting that. Me and Noah, we kind of have an on again, off again. He prefers Slap Your Mama Creole sauce, and I like Tony Chachere's. I like more savory than heat. Noah likes more heat than savory.
Kathy suggests just going to $9.99 a month and get a little ahead. There's a lot of different.
Well, we'll take a look at it, and we haven't made a decision on it yet. Yeah, I hate to seem like a crack dealer giving away some for free, and then nope, now it's behind a paywall. I hate to seem like that, but yeah, the books are how I make my living, so we're have to figure something out.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I knew it before, but I really know now. I mean, it's not just sitting down and typing this stuff out. I mean, there's a lot that goes in. One book was eye opening. I can't imagine doing this 30 times, and I had you helping me. You didn't have nobody helping you. So there's a lot of work that goes into this. So, I mean, I don't think there's anybody in this chat that faults you for saying that. I mean, it is what it is. That's your bread and butter. That's your job. That's how you make money to support the family. And, I mean, my own kids have bought their own copies of my books. I mean, Kevin didn't even. He was just like, "No, Dad."
Thank you, Kathy.
He said, "I'm going to buy one." My brother, my mom, my dad, they all bought them because they're like, you put the work in on this. That's,
Dorothy, I said she wished she could slap those ads. Here's the way to get around the ads. Okay, buy YouTube Premium. It's like $10 a month, and it cuts out all commercials. We get YouTube Premium, and it gives us like, I think it's like 5 email addresses we can use so you get no commercials, and we still get paid the ad revenue even though you're not seeing the commercials. So it's like having another like Netflix subscription, but for no more than it costs to get rid of all those commercials on YouTube, it is, to me, it's worth it. Because I listen to music when I write with YouTube. I watch videos all the time, and it's aggravating as hell to have to watch commercials. That's why we got rid of cable, as we got tired of watching commercials between bouts of our favorite episodes. So now we just stream stuff and don't have to deal with the commercials. But yeah, that's how you can get around those ads. YouTube Premium is pretty cheap. I think the most expensive packet is like $20, and it's for your whole family. But I think you can get an individual one for between $5 and $10. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but YouTube Premium is definitely worth it.
Curtis got a channel membership too.
Hey, thank you, Curtis. Appreciate it. Noah can eat some. I mean, that kid must have an asbestos tongue, as I swear to God, that kid can eat some stuff they'll take varnish off wood. There's a place in town we like to go to. It's a Thai place, and there's mild, medium, hot, and what they call Thai hot. And Noah gets Thai hot. It just sits there, and I got hot, and I was done. I mean, I had like 4 bites, and I looked like I was having a heart attack. My face was beet red, had sweat pouring off. I'm like, I can't do the hot. Hot burns. Only thing I taste is pain. Yeah, that kid, he's got some asbestos taste buds. Of course, there was a time when a restaurant in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, a place called Sweet Caroline's, and they make their own barbecue sauces there. And one of those that they make is made with the Carolina Reaper pepper. And Noah dared me to taste it. And I still had some food left on my plate, so I took a piece of rib meat and I just kind of very lightly dabbed it, just a little bit on the tip. And he's like, "Oh, come on, man!" So I went blah 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 and dipped it, and I popped it in my mouth, and I went to chew, and it was like a cartoon where you can just see the heat level rising. By the time I had chewed twice, I was on fire, and I barely got that swallowed. And I had a mug about this size full of beer, and I just went. Blah, 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 blah. And the waitress was coming back with another one. I drank that one, and then I drank a pitcher of water. I was like, oh God, it was hot. And that was another case of all I tasted was pain. Now I won't be doing that again. And I paid for it later, too, because anybody that's eaten, a lot of hot, spicy food knows that the worst is yet to come. Yeah, I paid for that one twice, but no, never again. I ain't eating another Carolina Reaper sauce. Ain't happening.
Yeah, we went for one of my buddies' bachelor parties. We went to Tennessee, and there's a place you've been to Gatlinburg. You've been, they got street level, and you got shops up on top level. Went to this place called the Pepper Palace, and it was one of those places where you had to get the hot one. You had to actually sign the waiver. So me and another buddy of mine signed the waiver, and they just put a little bitty dab on the chip. I'm glad there was a Wendy's close, so we could go get some Frosties, because that was hot stuff.
Now, I know milk would kill it, but I didn't have any milk, and I was down on everything liquid I could get in my mouth. Oh my God, I was on fire. Yeah, little Patty, you were absolutely correct. Yeah, I've never had hemorrhoids, but if I'd have had them, they would have been burned off at that particular point.
You wouldn't have had them no more.
No,
That's what
that was brutal as it was. I felt like Jeff Daniels on Dumb and Dumber. You know, thank you, Dan.
It's like crap in lava.
It was. Oh my God, that's brutal. And that Thai, when I eat Thai food with the, I don't eat it. I don't even get it anymore. If they get Thai food, I just get something else. I mean, I'll probably get like a sandwich from Subway or something. I can't do that heat. I used to love really hot food, but trying to keep up with Noah, I think I about melted my taste bud. That kid, and that calls me lava mouth because I can take like just like ladle out like beans and rice and just go to eating it, just off the stove. Doesn't really bother me that much, but man, some of that spicy stuff that Noah eats, holy crap! That kid, I'm telling you, asbestos mouth. But I do like spicy food. I don't want to just taste pain. Thank you, Roxanne. Yeah, I want to taste. I like heat with savory. I don't like heat with pain.
Yeah. Well, and that's like that the Pocky one chip challenge and all that stuff. I mean that's all that is pain. It's not, there's no flavor to it or anything like that, and it's just it's simply can you last through the pain.
We were joking one time about chipotle peppers. You can buy a can of chipotle peppers. We were joking that it was actually Chipotle, the Mayan god of spice. And so we made a big old pot of chili, and I got a can of Chipotle peppers that we were going to make an offering to the Mayan god of spice. Well, it wasn't even a very big can. I put that whole can in that chili, and that chili was so damn hot I couldn't eat it. And Noah was like, "Yeah, that's not bad." I'm like, "Oh no." Don, I worked around anhydrous ammonia when I worked for a company that made printed circuit boards. They etched the printed circuit boards. Yeah, you get a face full of anhydrous, that's brutal.
Yeah, you get too much of it, and you're going to exhale your lungs. I know for a fact because there was two guys tried to steal some from a fertilizer plant down here in Anderson. They went to the hospital, and shortly thereafter, they both died after their lungs came out of their mouths, basically.
Yeah, that's brutal. Not a good way to go.
Nope.
Roxanne, I like chipotle peppers too, but I've learned to use them in moderation. I don't just open the can and go right in my chili. I'll add some. I'll add a little bit in a spoon, and then I'll stir it, and I'll taste it. And if it's not hot enough, I'll add a little bit more. I don't just go, what the hell? What's the worst that can happen? Blah, blah, blah. I do like cooking with peppers. I mean, they say it's good for your blood pressure and your blood circulation because that the oil in it, the oleoresin capsicum, it actually dissolves like plaque in your arteries. That if you eat a diet high in spicy foods, you're far less likely to get clogged arteries. So there must be some truth to it because my cholesterol and my arteries were good. My doctor's like, "Damn, your cholesterol's better than mine. What's your secret?" I said, "Spicy food."
I'm convinced that eating spice like that does help stuff like that out because I've never had a problem with cholesterol or any of that stuff, but like I constantly you might open my refrigerator and not find anything to eat, but you'll always find Tabasco and Frank's and stuff like that in there.
Yeah, we got 6 or 8 bottles of different hot sauces. Irene said she's got to go to bed. She's got to get up early to milk. Well, Irene, you have a great night. Thanks for being here.
Good night, Irene. Actually had a reason to say that.
3D Havoc says they say cayenne is good for you. Noah cooks with a lot of cayenne. Darcy says that capsaicin is good for your joints too. Yeah, like I said, I like cooking with peppers. I just don't want it to be the only thing I taste. Harold Goodell says my wife ordered me Cholula sauce, 7-pack bottle. We've got Cholula in the other room. Annette puts that in her jambalaya. She likes Cholula in her jambalaya. Dorothy Wade says no food's worth going to the ER for. Found that out from Old Bay, and my gallbladder had to go. Yeah, I don't. The food should not hurt, but I do like a little heat to everything. My cowboy sloppies, my cowboy sloppy joes. They got like 4 kinds of peppers in them. I don't know, 5 if you count the green chilies, but it's got a little bit of heat to it, but it's more the savory heat than the spicy heat. And I like cooking with fresh ingredients. I mean, I much prefer to cut my own vegetables than to get something that's prepackaged. UPD says love sriracha. Noah's a big sriracha fan.
Yeah, sriracha's pretty potent stuff too. I get that when I go like the Japanese steakhouses. They use that a lot.
I'm like Cowboy Kent Rollins, man. I want a little heat to my food. I'll put a little heat in just about everything. Even my spaghetti sauce has got some heat to it. Miss Lene says, "Do you need more of the Tabasco flakes?" Maybe. Yeah, I'd say that's a definite maybe. As between the move and as much as Noah and I use peppers, I don't think there's much, if anything, left. Thank you, Scott. We're glad to be back. Mrs. Boone says, Hatch, New Mexico green chilies. Love me some Hatch green chilies. Hey, I don't know if any of y'all know. I don't know if any of y'all are local or, if any of y'all still live down in New Mexico or anything, but if any of y'all know where to get dried peppers, I've been looking forever for a place locally that sells dried peppers and chilies, dried chilies. I want to get dried, especially the dried chilies, but I've been wanting to get some bags of those dried chilies so bad because they're so good to cook with. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Kevin. And everybody's jumping on the channel tonight. Thank you, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Really appreciate it.
Yep. Kevin's became a channel member. That's our boy. Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate it.
Yeah, brother. Sure appreciate it, man. Bigfoot 911 says, I'll not be eating anything you cook. Hey, like I said, I like to go for flavorful, not so much hot. But I do like to have a little heat in it. I mean, but I don't want it to be overpowering. River Sticks says, yeah, Hatch, New Mexico chilies. Absolutely. Hatch green chilies are so flavorful. Angela Monroe says, I found some at Walmart. I needed them for quesadillas. I haven't ever seen them at any of the local Walmarts. I'll look next time I'm there. But I don't think I've ever seen them. There's a Latino market here in town. I need to go check that out. It's actually not that far from here. I think Noah and I probably, once I get paid, we'll run over and see if they've got some. We've been talking about it. John Wayne, he's back. Says hello from Washington State. Hey, John, good to see you, dude. Darcy says we can get dried chilies in the international food section of our grocery store up here in Wisconsin. I've looked in the international section here. Maybe I should check Hy-Vee because the stores we normally shop at haven't had any of them. There's a local store we tend to shop at. It's called Harder House. It's just a local chain. But all the meat that they sell is locally raised. They've got the best meat and produce in town. So we generally kind of go there. Thank you, Paul. We generally, that's where we go for our meat and produce because they've got the best. But I'll go over to Hy-Vee and see if I can find some of those chilies. Jeff says, I like to clear my sinuses by eating wasabi. I'm not a fan of wasabi. Never have been. Darcy says they have a pick and save and a woodsman. Yeah, we don't have any of those around here. However, it says, question, what's the 15 and 20 points thing it shows for buying a book on Amazon? I have no idea.
Just Amazon points. You remember what Doc was talking to us about his points?
Yeah, you get so many points for purchases, and you can put those points toward. Yeah, that's right. Doc saves up his points. But yeah, my wife's one that does all the purchasing off Amazon. If I need something on Amazon, I find it, send her the link. Like, already, I need this. Yeah, I forgot that's what Doc was telling us. That you buy it and it gives you so many points in your account, and when you've got enough points saved up, you can use them to make purchases.
Yep. I just know that's what it is because Doc said. I've never looked into what it is or how many points I have or any of that kind of stuff. Ow.
You all right?
Yeah, I moved again the wrong way.
Brother, I'm so sorry, brother. I know how bad that sucks. Yeah. You know, when I was a CO, I got like all the ribs on this right side. I got all them bruised doing a cell extraction. Guy was just driving his knuckles into. So we were trying to get him under control. And when I'm being the lead guy on the CERT team, he was just driving punch after punch right behind my armor plate into those ribs. And for about a month after that, I would put my body armor on and just tighten it as tight as I could possibly tighten it. And that's how I got through shifts with all those bruised ribs. It sucks.
Yeah. Whew. I looked and see. I thought I might have had an ace bandage or something so I could wrap them, but I couldn't find one anywhere. So just having to deal with it. And like I said, throughout the day today it was okay, but later on in the day, it's thinking you.
Oh yeah, it always works.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I'm going to start winding things down. We're still going to go over for a couple hours tonight and work at the other house, and getting stuff ready to go in the morning over to storage. Still got some stuff we got to box up, but most of, like I said, the big stuff's here. I think we've got like one, maybe two more things that have got to come over. My son's dresser, and that may be about it. Just that dresser may be the last of what we got to come over here. But we've got to finish boxing up some glassware and stuff like that and put it in storage. As the kitchen over here, I was used to having a ton, and I do mean a ton of cabinet space at that other house. This one's got like a quarter as much, so I had to be very careful about what I brought over. Just stuff that we could use. Plus, talk about weird. This house has no garbage disposal or dishwasher. So we got to be careful about what we wash, and we got to make sure everything's good and scraped off in the trash before it goes in the sink. So we got to do everything by hand. And when we had to do that by hand and we didn't have internet, I felt like the Amish. But hopefully that'll get the other house fixed pretty quickly, and we'll be back to garbage disposal and a dishwasher. And I'm telling you, folks, you don't realize how much you count on those things until you ain't got them. Pete, Mary Ann Moffat, she broke my heart. I love that quote. Show me the way to go home. Little Jaws quote there, for those of you that didn't recognize that. That whole scene right there, especially when he's talking about the Indianapolis, that is fantastic.
Yep.
To me, it's one of my favorite scenes in any movie.
Well, that's pretty much Robert Shaw.
Yeah, he ad-libbed that.
Yeah. Well, the first couple takes he was hammered, and Steven Spielberg hated it, and he said, "Well, okay, let me go back and work on it." So he went back and worked on it, and I think the third take still he wasn't quite there with it. So finally he was just like, screw it. I'm just gonna ad lib it. And the final take that's in the movie is Robert Shaw just completely ad libbing it. And Steven Spielberg even talks about that. The looks on Roy Scheider and Richard Dreyfuss's face were legitimate reactions to Shaw doing that.
Especially that bit when he's talking about ran into a buddy of mine, Bosun's mate, baseball player. He upended like
Herbie
a top.
Robertson.
Yeah, bit him in two with the waist.
Yep. That's
But anyway,
true. Man. Remember the name of that guy.
Yeah, that whole incident with the Indianapolis is just horrifying.
Yep. I drink to your leg, you drink to my rib. Somebody pulling up and looking at their appendix scar.
It's just that easy to derail us into movie quotes. Yeah, Jaws. When they put Jaws back out in the theaters here a few years ago, I went and saw it in the theater.
Yep.
And just because to see it again on the big screen was just awesome. I wasn't missing that.
Oh yeah, that is my all-time favorite movie.
It is a fantastic flick.
And that's one I hope they never do the remake of until they learn to do it right. Because that movie's the definition of lightning in a bottle.
Yeah. But, I would love to see that kind of lightning in the bottle done with one of my books.
100%.
That would just be freaking awesome to get one of them made into an epic film.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Greg's even said it. It's just a matter of getting it in front of the right people. Because if the right people see it, read it, hear about it, I don't think there's a. It'd have to be. 3D Havoc says they'll recast Jaws as a sea lioness.
Just about. But again, folks, thank you guys who jumped on and became members of the channel tonight. Thank you guys so much. Not making a decision tonight, obviously, about what we're going to be doing with the Redneck Reading Association, but we will be doing something soon. Hopefully, things improve for everybody around the economy, but kind of gotta have to do something at least for a while. We'll see how things go. And again, appreciate all of you guys. Appreciate all the kind words, everybody. We missed being on with y'all, and really, really happy to be back. Again, we won't be doing the Redneck Reading Association tomorrow night because I'll still be finishing up, trying to get that other house finished and packed out so they can get started rewiring the thing. And hopefully it won't be too terribly long because we were pretty cramped over here in the new place. But I'm not going to complain. I mean, we've got a roof over our head, we've got heat, we've got air conditioning, and it could be a hell of a lot worse. We could be living in a tent, or the house could have burnt down with us in it. Because even the electrician was like, "I am stunned this place didn't burn down around you." So thank heaven for small miracles that nothing like that happened. They're going to get it all taken care of, and then we'll be back home. But I still kind of, sometimes I wake up at night thinking how bad that could have gone. Kathy, you just gotta go to YouTube and sign in with your Google account. If you've got a Gmail account, Google owns YouTube, so just go to YouTube, and there's an option up in the corner for you to sign in, and just sign in with your Google account, your Gmail account, and then go to the channel. And once you're signed into YouTube, and you should be able to do it from there. Just there's a join button beneath the videos at the lower left hand corner of the screen, and at the bottom of the chat there's a little $sign where you can select like gifting or memberships and things like that. Google owns everyone, pretty much. Check out the guys that have been sponsoring the channel. Brock Blades, brockblades.com. Let them know we sent you. Check out Doc's stuff over at Dark Angel Medical. Check out Robbie's books and Lone Wolf Customs because he's got some pretty awesome blades. Check out my books on Amazon or DARoberts.net. And don't forget to go check out SigwoArms.com. Sigwo Arms is our big one now. They're not only going to be sponsoring the channel, but very soon they're going to have available Team Odin and other custom lowers or uppers. They do all kinds of custom work on firearms of all types. But check out sigwalarms.com and you can reach out to him, and they will be doing custom Team Odin and Wild Hunt ARs in the very, very near future. I need to get back over there and talk to him, take him some of the images and the artwork, but they're going to be building one for me, and I can't wait to get it. It's going to be awesome. So, folks, again, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Check out all the folks that are part of our affiliates, because we choose them all because not only are they good products, but they're veteran and first responder owned. And we believe firmly in supporting our veterans and first responders. Check out the 22 a Day Foundation. We lose 22 veterans a day to suicide, and that is 22 too many. So reach out, check on your friends and family that are first responders, who are veterans who have served in any capacity. The phrase is never more true when we're talking about people that wore uniform. Some all gave some, and some gave all. And I was just reading on Facebook just the other day about in one of the veterans groups I'm in about someone who'd lost their brother to the 22 a day. He became one of the 22 a day, and it really kind of struck a nerve with me. I mean, it hurt because I hate hearing that. And I buried way too many people under that folded flag, and I hope the next one I end up going to, I hope it, to be honest, I just hope it's my own. I don't really want to go anymore because I hate seeing brothers being put to rest under that flag. And I hope it's a long time from now. I'd like to crank out a lot more books between now and Judgment Day, but I guess we'll see how that goes, because I can make all the plans I want, but the big guys' plans are the ones that matter. So I guess we'll see what we'll see. But again, check out your friends and family and first responders and veterans. Let them know you're thinking about them. Let them know you care, because you never know when that "Hey, are you okay?" text is what keeps them off the ledge. So do so, please. Reach out, let them know you care. And again, check out Robbie's book. Let's throw Robbie's link up there one more time, and we'll throw mine up there as well, so you guys can check those out. Thank you, Roxanne. Should be popping up. There we go. Yeah, they're already popping up. Check out Robbie's book, Shadow Walkers, Silver Star, and be watching for Shadow Walkers. What's the second one?
The Creature Escape or Swamp.
Your Creature Escape or Swamp. And check out Dark Frontiers, Demon of Paladuro Canyon. It's still at number 3 in Western horror, and I hope you guys will check it out. If you hadn't had a chance to read it, please check it out, pick it up, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. And we're watching for Lakeview Man, Dead of Winter, coming in the next few weeks. So thank you guys so much, and thank you guys for being with us, and we're happy to be back, and I hope you guys had as much fun tonight as we did, and we will see you guys on Wednesday night. Good night, y'all.
Slanja.
Oh yeah, got to do the toast. Almost forgot. I'm glad I kept enough to toast with. Holy crap, why didn't you remind me?
Well, I thought you'd about to do it, and that's why I threw it in there right there at the end.
Yeah, I'm glad you said something, because I had completely forgotten. But
we're a little bit out of practice.
We are a little out of practice. As the toast goes, but since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call. Good night, and joy be to you all. Good night, everyone.
Slanja.
Thank you for joining us. Catch us again Wednesdays and Saturdays on DAExMachina. A special thanks to all our channel members and Patreon supporters. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe.